Okay, so people are going on about this Obama birth certificate deal. Alex Jones has his so-called experts involved on it, and they called themselves Photoshop experts, which was odd because they weren't using Photoshop at any point in their process. But I've actually been using Photoshop since before it was Adobe. It used to be owned by a company called Aldus, and then Adobe bought Aldus and got a lot of their software, and a lot of the software they did that Adobe didn't get, Macromedia got, and then a few years ago Adobe bought Macromedia, and so that Adobe just buys up everything. That's just how they are. Well, the whole idea is that it was a forgery done by humans because it was in layers, because you can separate the text from the background. What you're looking at here is a Netgear flyer, and this is something that a friend of mine did online because he wanted to try it out and see if it worked, and he couldn't get it to work. And what I want to talk about is why, and why these Alex Jones people are stupid. Basically, when you scan something, it all goes in as one bitmap, so this is all one thing to the computer. It's all one image. Now, one thing that Acrobat can do is called OCR. And what it does is it takes, like that ProSafe 5-port 10100 desktop switch thing, it can take that and it can figure out what the text is and replace it with actual computer text that can be selected and copied and searched and things like that. Well, we're not going to do that because that wasn't done with the Obama birth certificate. But what Acrobat does have the option to do is to optimize it, which is stripping away what it seems as the foreground away from the background and putting it in a separate thing and then compressing them together. So this is an optimization. This isn't OCR. This is a different thing. And this is exactly what happened with the Obama birth certificate because it looks exactly like the kind of stupid things that computers do. Computers don't really understand what's foreground and what's background the way an intelligent human would looking at this. You know, like look up there, we see, okay, that's white text for Netgear against a blue background. And then under that, we've got blue text on a white background, white text on a white background. There's a picture, there's a logo, there's all these other text and backgrounds and things like that. Computers don't really think that way. They just kind of muddle through as best they can. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the tools and we're going to see how this works. So here are our tools over here. No, my wall's not red. I have it white balanced for the screen, not for the walls. I was saying, he's in a pink wall. No, it's a normal colored wall. It's just a different white balance. So anyway, you have all these different tools here. There's one called Recognize Text. That's the OCR. That's what we're not going to do. All right, this is what actually allows you to go through and convert the bitmapped text to actual computer text that can be searched and copied and whatever. What we're going to do is we're going to go down to Document Processing. And you see this option here, it says Optimize Scanned PDF. All right? And this is obviously what was done with the Obama birth certificate. And a lot of times this is just done by default. Apparently this guy, when he did it, he didn't have those defaults set up. It should have run the Optimize on it, and it didn't for whatever reason. It might have been in scanner settings or whatever. For some reason that didn't work. So we'll do that. We'll hit Optimize Scanned PDF. Okay. We only have one page, so we're going to do the current page, and it's going to be the adaptive compression. And all of these defaults are okay, except we're not going to actually make it searchable. That's Apply OCR. We're going to uncheck that. So this will not be OCR'd. This will not be the computer text overlaid on the top. Because again, that was not done with the Obama birth certificate. All I'm going to do is click OK. All right, at this point, I'm just going to go up and do a Save As. I'm just going to save it straight as a PDF. And I've made a special folder on my desktop. There it is. Netgear samples. There's nothing in there right now. That's okay. We'll just take the default name because that's the only thing there. Now, it should be saved as an optimized PDF. And then we'll pull it into Illustrator. And we'll see how it looks. So okay, so this is Illustrator. Right, see Adobe Illustrator up there. We'll go File to Open. All right, I went over to the Netgear samples photo. I'm going to edit that out just so you don't have to sit there and wait on me to do that. But there's the one we just saved. And then we'll open. Okay, and there's a slight error there, but who knows what that's all about. That happens. Alright, so here it is in Illustrator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what the Alex Jones people did with Obama's birth certificate. I'm just going to select that. Right? And then up here under the Object menu, you have the clipping mask. And this is exactly what they did. We're going to release the clipping mask. And then when I do that, I deselect it. I'm going to go and select it again. But look at that. Look at that. You see how the text comes apart? And it comes apart in that kind of dumb way that it was done with the Obama birth certificate too. Like it didn't recognize this as white text against a blue background. It did recognize the counters in the A and the R. See, there they are. There's that triangle for the A and that kind of half ellipse thing for the R. They're called counters, and they got removed because the computer thought that was part of the foreground. There's the Netgear, the ProSafe, all the text there. You've got those little artifacts here that are left behind, just like on the Obama birth certificate. You know, it wasn't quite like it kind of took out a lot of that. You can't really see that there, but if I move it over, you see it's got the white Netgear that it took out, but it didn't quite get all the background out. You know, this is how computers do things. You know, you've got all of these different things that it does to pull it apart. And the Obama birth certificate looks exactly like this. You've got parts of words that are left behind on the background layer. There's one signature that's like half of it's on the background layer, half of it's with the text layer. They're not actually layers. I shouldn't say that. That's the word they used. But you know, they're not actually layers. They're just different parts of the image. None of this is actually layered. There are no layers in this image at all. But that's just how it does when it optimizes it. It's pulling out all of these things that it thinks it can do separately. And of course it kind of, there's kind of that, like there's that orange background and there's the text that goes on it, and I don't know if you can see this or not, there's a little bit of orange fringe around it because it didn't quite cut it out cleanly. And that's just how it works. So that there is nothing surprising about this at all to anyone who actually knows what they're doing. And as far as these Alex Jones experts are concerned, they should all be fired for gross incompetence. There is nothing suspicious about the birth certificate thing at all, and everyone just needs to get over that.